I'm Jennifer Gilmour and I'm an author and advocate for women in abusive relationships. I want to get to the answers to the questions that many have from those that work in the domestic abuse sector, getting an inside feel of what it's really like in their job role and sharing it with all of you. Right, hi everyone and welcome to the next #Abuse Talk interview. I'm with the lovely Stella.
Hi!
I'm so excited about this because we've never met before and we've come especially for her event tomorrow, which is tomorrow, but it'll be in past tense by the time this is published. So welcome Stella.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you for agreeing to be interviewed. I want to give you a little introduction, but the first question I've got really is for you to introduce yourself. So tell us a bit about what you do and who you are.
Right, okay. Well, I'm Stella, if you don't already know, and I wrote my autobiography, The Right to Be Me, and I like to draw. I'm quite creative, and I did the artwork for my book cover, which is quite exciting.
I don't think I even knew that.
Yeah.
Or maybe I did do, but that's well done for
Thank
that
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Got to carry on. Sorry.
Sorry.
So you were just telling us a bit about your book.
Yes. So it was really quite, what can I say, a traumatic time doing the book, but also it was a very helpful time as well. So yes, it's really helped me in many ways because I got to reconnect to who I am as a person. So.
Yes, and your book is your memoirs, is
It
that
is,
right?
it is.
So
yes.
it's very different to sort of anything really that's out there because it is the raw, honest.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm making it sound really dramatic, but I've obviously read it and I will pop a link to the review in this in the description, so check that out. But I think knowing that it was a memoir made it a lot more personal for me, and obviously meeting up with you for the first time today, it's like, whoa, that's, I know a layer of you, and I suppose you're putting yourself out there in a completely different way. Mm-hmm. So congratulations for getting up that bravery to do that. That will help so many people, I'm sure.
Oh, thank you.
So, considering it's a memoir, how did that writing process go? Because I can imagine it, well, for me, I would imagine it's quite difficult, so how did that go?
It was really, well, it was very difficult because going back to, relieving the trauma, it's not easy because I found like with the trauma, how do you actually describe it? Because some things I couldn't always speak or describe it. It was more like a sound or a stuck emotion inside. So trying to go back to that traumatic time and actually convey it to paper was quite difficult at the beginning, and I didn't think there'd be much to write about. My counsellor encouraged me to, start writing, right. And I thought, maybe 2 pages. Life wasn't great. She lived and she died, happy ever after. But then when I started, it just all started to just all pour out.
Oh, wow.
And I just couldn't stop. And what became, it was like a jigsaw piece in a way. All these things started to appear, and then I thought, oh my gosh, this makes sense of what I've been feeling, and it helped me to reclaim my identity. But also, it was very increased in my anxiety.
Right, okay.
So that was quite hard because I just got my anxiety. I used to sweat quite a lot and have panic attacks, and I got them at an okay level. And then I started to write my book, and then it increased them back up again. But in a way, I did kind of need to go through that to bring me to where I needed to be today.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
And how long did that take then? How long was that writing process? Was it like months or was it years? Or
18 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 18 months. So I used to just do it at the weekend around work, and all I would think about was writing, and even like on my breaks at work I'd have a pen and paper and I was just making notes what was coming out, because it was just all then just spilling out, and I just thought I need to write it down, and I just want to be at home and I want to write. That's all I want to do.
So in a way it's like a good thing.
Yes, absolutely.
So what actually inspired you to write your memoirs? I know you mentioned that you had a counsellor, that therapist that helped you sort of direct you in that way. Was there initial was it a light bulb moment, or was it her instruction that helped you come to that result?
She encouraged me to write it because I wasn't really getting any help, and she kind of didn't know what to say. As a therapist sat there listening to all this trauma that's going on, and she's like, whoa, I can't believe what's happening to you with the legal system and how much you've been trying to get help and you're not getting help. And she just couldn't work out why nobody was helping me.
Right.
And I just felt so frustrated, and I was still stuck trying to find out who I was. So she suggested, why don't you write this down? So I did do, and I didn't really think it would become a book at that time. I just thought, I'll write it down and then I'll probably burn it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I was going to burn it, like a cathartic thing, you know, just get rid of it. But I didn't.
Did completely the opposite.
Yeah, I'll go to it, get it published. So yeah, I thought I'd just contact a publisher, and they just said, yeah, we'll have it, which was really strange because it wasn't ever in me to think about ever writing a book. It was, it wasn't, I never thought I'll do that. It just happened. So yeah.
And how did you feel on publication day then?
Publication day, I was working that day, so I didn't really have any time to think about it.
That's a fair.
I was excited, but I got so much work on because I was starting at 8 o'clock in the morning and didn't get in well after 6. I didn't really have much time to kind of think about it with my work schedule, but I did have a really good little party at the weekend when it did come out. So I had a celebration, so that was really exciting for me to celebrate it a few days later. So yeah.
Well, I suppose that is a good part of it, isn't it? And you have to have the celebrations and recognition for actually what you've achieved. You should be very proud of yourself. So looking at after publication day, what has been the response to your memoirs?
Oh, it's varied.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've had really good positive feedback. A lot of ladies have said, you know, they thank me for writing it, and then they feel like less alone because they thought they were probably not believed in certain areas, maybe with friends, but you know, with the coercive control, because a lot of it was coercive control. So they identify with reading my story, that they see that happened to them as well. Some people have read it and they wanted to throw it against the wall, which is a good thing, purely out of the frustration that nobody was actually helping, which I totally get that. And I'm quite surprised, thinking, wow, I wrote that and they want to throw it against the wall, you know, get that outrage. And also, what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, and there was a couple who said that they couldn't read it any further, because they couldn't bear what life of being in an abusive relationship is like. They couldn't bear that trauma, so they just couldn't carry on with it because it was, and I understand it, that it was too much for them to read, and it slightly freaked them out that Damien's still walking out there.
I think listening just to your response there, that's a big, like, positive in a sense, because you've clearly managed to portray the abuse in such a way that it needed to be told, it needed to have that honesty, and it is that hard hitting. It's the reality that you lived, and I mean, I'm hoping it gives you some kind of, I don't want to say karma, I can't think of the word, but that somebody else feels that way about it. That's a satisfaction that, okay, it wasn't just something that I thought of or happened, and I felt like this, but somebody else feels like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you do far more than your publication, like your event tomorrow. So what else do you do? Because obviously you have a really good following on social media. I'm sure you're helping so many people behind the scenes as well. So can you tell everybody a bit about what else you do other than the writing side?
Well, I do other talks at various other women's groups, and I get quite a few messages coming through on my social media site from other women who have been experiencing domestic abuse so often, and I'm sure you're the same, Jennifer. You're chatting most days with somebody who's going through something similar, and it's just nice just to be able to offer somebody some extra, you know, support, to know that they're not on their own and they're not alone. So yes, I do quite a bit of that as well.
And obviously we've got your event tomorrow. Keep going on about it, so we should really talk. I haven't put this in here.
Yay!
But we should really talk about the event tomorrow, because I was saying just over tea, because we've had a nice lovely tea, that this event is different, because I've been to the professional events where we're trying to educate professionals about domestic abuse and coercive control and all the different elements of abuse, and I've been to other events where it's towards the public to bring awareness, but this one is really about after you've been through an abusive relationship, and then empowering other women to sort of change their lifestyles, change their habits, and basically to lead a different life. Well, not a different life, but changing their life. So tell us a bit about what brought you to that point for tomorrow and tomorrow's event. I think I might have just summed it.
Oh yeah, beautiful. I couldn't have said it any better. I think the thing is, I've been on such an amazing journey in my own self-discovery and transformation, and I wanted to share, you know, with others about my journey, and that's what's so important to this event. Sort it with Stella and friends, that everybody who's speaking are so passionate about inspiration, and it's through doing that we're empowering others to reclaim back their power. And this is what it's all about, the event. Having great speakers, Jennifer, sharing our stories just to give hope and show that there is a better life after abuse, and that what is so important. And we need to look at reclaiming ourselves, which is so incredibly important, and that's what this event is all about.
So will there be other ones?
Yes, hopefully there will be more to come. So
inside information?
Yes, spoiler alert. No, it's not, it's great. I'm hoping to do more events around the UK. That's my plan. So fingers crossed, if you know anybody who wants to sponsor me, please do get in touch, because that would be great, and then we can take it around the UK and get more women to be inspired and empower themselves, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, definitely. Right, so what has been, looking on your journey at the moment,
right,
and where you are now, what's been the most challenging part of your journey so far?
Making changes to my life.
Oh.
It's not been easy. Yeah, it's been quite difficult, and I think making any change to any part of your life isn't easy. But looking at my own journey, I've literally had to change everything. So that's been quite tricky and quite difficult, and I always say I'm work in progress. I'm always learning constantly, but yeah, it's definitely.
I'm sure we will tomorrow as well. I was just thinking. And what about your most rewarding, you know, up to now in your journey, what's been the most rewarding part of your journey?
Making changes again, because from those difficult changes I brought better changes, and it's been so rewarding making changes to my life. So I have to say that they both run together.
That's amazing. I've never had that before.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that.
I love it. So if you could give advice to someone who is in an abusive relationship that might be watching this video right now, but one piece of advice, what would it be?
Leave. You deserve the life you're meant to have. You're meant to be happy. You're meant to express who you are. You shouldn't be silenced for being who you are. And you have hopes and dreams, and you must live your life. And if you are fearful of being at home, you must leave.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is an important message, and sometimes it's about giving ourselves permission as well. It's like, I give myself permission that I deserve better or deserve to leave. So thank you for that, Stella. So I know we just talked about your challenges, and you said about making changes. So how do you help your well-being, and when you're talking about your experiences then?
Oh, well, I always have I have like a lot of tools or techniques to help me. So I always run through what I'm going to talk, and then I'm really big into actually mindfulness, and I sit with myself after I've thought about what I'm going to talk, and I tune into my body, and I see how does my body feel, how is it reacting, and what do I need to do to make my body okay. So I look at that, and from that I will decide what I need to do to support myself. Do I need to just pause a minute? Do I need to get a drink? Do I need to take something with me? So I have different little tools that I do. So yeah.
That sounds very interesting. I've not heard of anything like that before in that sense. So can people support the work that you do?
Absolutely. Please do get in touch. Anybody you know, anybody who feels like they could help, or if you've got any contacts, please do get in contact with me, because any support is greatly appreciated to help more events so we can inspire more women.
Definitely. And I think we might have already sneakily, I'm probing here, what can we expect next? Inside information.
We can expect, well as the more events, there should be another book coming out in the future. Ooh. Ooh, another book. So that's flown off to a publisher. So I'm just waiting for that to come back, and I'm so excited about this book. I really am. It's something totally different, but it just absolutely makes my heart sing when I see this book, and I'm just dying to share it with you. You know, I can't contain this excitement, but you're gonna have to wait.
Yeah, even I don't know anything. It's not fair. I should have access to inside information.
You should have a copy.
Okay, so probably the most important thing, how can people find you online? Where can they buy your book? And yeah, how do people find you?
Right, so you can go to find me on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram. So on Instagram, I'm known as Stella's Open Road Trip, all one word. And on Twitter, I'm Stella Eden Author. And on Facebook, I'm Stella Eden Author as well. I can't remember. And you can get my book on Amazon, and also you can go to Pegasus Publishers if you want to order it through them direct. So you've got a couple of options, and you can email me on any of my social media sites as well. So.
Can people grab a signed copy out of interest anywhere?
Yes, if you are coming to the event or in the area, please do come in. There's you can grab a book. You can even grab a t-shirt for the event. So please do come and get your copy.
No, that's great, and actually I always say this, but I'm actually going to put all the information in the description of the YouTube video, so I make you say it for no reason whatsoever. But I think it's important because it's personal as well, and you know, you can be looking on your phones while you're watching this, who knows. I just want to say a massive thank you, Stella, for agreeing to be interviewed, and only my second in-person interview. Everyone else has been on Zoom calls.
Really?
Yeah,
oh wow!
Oh, we did really well. I reckon we did that really fast.
You did really good.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, you're like a right pro. Woo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And do want to say, if you are on Twitter, it will be #AbuseTalk at 8 p.m. GMT. So you can flick over from YouTube right over to Twitter and chat. And Stella will most likely, will you be on that day?
I will.
On Twitter, and there will be a chance to ask Stella questions over there if you haven't in the YouTube video now. She's there most weeks, actually, aren't you?
Yeah.
I want to say most weeks, not all the time, but
yeah.
not saying anything. I wasn't being judgy there at all. Just saying she is there most weeks, so do come on and join on #AbuseTalk on Twitter. And the next interview will be next month, and it's the first Wednesday of the month, so do pop it in your diary so you don't miss out. Thank you again, Stella, for agreeing to do this. I hope it wasn't as daunting.
No, it's been great. Thank you.
That's what we'd like to know.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, so thank you.
Thank you.
Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.